video is going to be a few more of my favorites that I wanted to share with you because, as always, I love them and I thought you guys might like them too. I have 4 things for you today, so let's get started. I apologize, I feel like my hair is all over the place. The first thing is a movie, and I realize that it might seem like I'm going to end up doing a lot of movies. I love movies. I love going to the movies. I love quoting movies. You know, just all of it. I love everything about movies. And so I will probably be featuring quite a few of them in my favorites videos, but I will try to keep them to some of the older ones that I don't think as many people know about that I think they should, because they're some of my favorite go-tos. And one of those is The Thomas Crown Affair. Now, little disclaimer, this is rated R, there is some nudity, so children don't watch. But it has Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo in it, and it's sort of, it's the story of an elegant crime, and so it's not your usual, like, we're robbing banks and cops are running around, whatever. It's about a stolen painting, and how Thomas Crown gets wrapped up in that, who's a wealthy businessman, and then Rene Russo is investigating him as a suspect, and so it's how that all unfolds. And so it's kind of a unique spin on the crime story. Obviously it falls into the romantic category, you gotta assume, you know. So anyway, it's one of my favorites. I think it's got some kind of witty one-liners in it. It was made in '99, it came out in '99 I guess. So you can imagine that some of it's a little dated, but it's still really good. For the most part, most of it is still, it's not so old that you can't like enjoy it or whatever. So anyway, if you see it on Netflix, which I haven't before, I don't know if it still is, watch it because it's a pretty entertaining movie, assuming you're not a child. The next thing on my list is a beauty item, and that is my Sigma F80 flat top kabuki brush. This brush is, I use it for my liquid foundation, and it is just the softest. It just feels like velvet on your skin. It's amazing. And I use it for my liquid foundation, and it also does a great job of like spreading it around, so you get really good coverage with a little amount because of the density of this brush, and it's soft, it's amazing. And it's super durable. Like I never feel like the bristles are like, I mean right now they kind of are because I just washed it. But I have some other brushes like for MAC and stuff that I feel like every time I use them they're leaving bristles on my face, and this one has never done that, and I've had it for quite several years. So if you're looking for a really good foundation brush, and if you haven't already heard of this, which I'm sure if you have seen any beauty blogger in your life or YouTuber, whoever, you've probably heard of it, but if you haven't, go out and get it because it is an excellent addition to any makeup lover's collection, and you won't be disappointed. So Sigma F80 flat top kabuki. Next on the list, again, this is a book, so like the movies, I will probably be featuring several books as well because I do like to read, and I will try to keep them to the less popular, that I think they're less popular, I guess I should say. Although this next one might be popular to some of you. You might think like, duh, like you live under a rock, like why haven't you heard of that? Or why you just not speaking of it or whatever. So I won't speak about things like Harry Potter, which is obviously a favorite of mine, but I will speak about things like this, which is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And it is also known as the KonMari method if you aren't familiar with the book, but maybe you've heard that phrase before or seen it on Pinterest or something like that. And she is a Japanese tidying consultant, and so she goes to people's houses who are like hoarders or have problems with getting rid of stuff, and teaches them how to properly tidy their home. And it applies to everybody. So even if you're like, well, I'm not a hoarder, so like why would I need to read that? That's stupid. Or like, oh, I have a cleaning system and I'm awesome and I clean 15 minutes every day and whatever, like, save it, no one wants to hear it. She teaches you how to do it the proper way, so you don't have to do 15 minutes every day. You don't have to constantly be like, I have to clean the closet this weekend, or oh my gosh, like the coat closet needs cleaned out or whatever. Like, she teaches you how to clean so that it lasts forever, and so that every time you come in contact with something, you know what to do with it, and like what things you should be keeping, and what things the minute they come in your house they need to be going somewhere else, whether that's being donated, thrown away, read it, toss it, that type of thing. She goes through all of that, and her method is, it's sort of a step-by-step process, and it works for everybody. It's not for hoarders. This is for just day-to-day people who think they have just maybe they could do some fine-tuning of their clutter. And so she steps you through a process, which the core of it is that you should only keep things that bring you joy. And so if it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it, because you should be surrounded by things that give you joy. So she steps you through item by item instead of going room by room, which is how most people conventionally clean. This is about taking all of that item. So if she's starting with clothing, you grab all of the clothing in the house and it all goes in a pile instead of leaving it where it is and picking through and deciding what should I get rid of. The question is instead having it in a pile and asking what should I keep. And so that forces you to pick up every single item and ask that question if it sparks joy, and should I keep this? I was blown away by how much stuff I got rid of because I thought I had it pretty well thinned out, but this was like absolutely incredible. Like how many things I didn't really use and I just was hanging on to for no apparent reason, just to be surrounded by it or something. I don't know. Excellent book. I highly recommend it for anybody who enjoys cleaning, or maybe you just think you need some organization in your life because you feel like you have a cluttered mind. And this speaks to how having an organized home and having a tidy home and environment can create that for your mind. So if you're even just somebody who feels like you're all over the place, like this could probably help in a lot of ways, and maybe not, but either way, it's very interesting to read, and her methods are pretty cool to read about. So check it out if you haven't already. I loved it, and I think you guys might too. Next thing on the list is a little bigger, and it is my Tumi backpack that my husband got for me for my birthday, and I just love this backpack. I realize it's a backpack, so you're probably like, that's dumb, like why is it on the list? Like we all know. But a couple of things I just want to point out about it, because I don't feel like Tumi is overly recognizable. Like if you don't usually travel much, I feel like you might not even know about them, and maybe that's dumb to assume. But they make really, really nice suitcases, and they also make bags for carry-on, briefcases, actual backpacks, etc. This one has minimal pockets, which I kind of like because it doesn't create that like super bulky profile like when you get, you start loading up to stuff. So it's very good at like keeping you minded on what do you really need. And it has just, I feel like, the right amount of pockets. So it has the main pocket, which has, sorry, you can see this. The main pocket, which has sort of a laptop sleeve, and then a smaller one that's sort of tiered down that would fit like an iPad, and then just regular pocket in with it. And then there's this middle pocket, which is somewhat standard. And it also has a couple of little pockets, which I usually keep like my phone or my glasses case in. And then it has a zipper pocket in it as well. So then the main area. And then it has these two front pockets, which this one just has like the usual little pen, Again, if you've ever seen a backpack before, probably seen this. Not telling you anything new. And it has this main pocket that also has, they all sort of have like a zipper pocket inside as well, which is really kind of neat. Again, it's a backpack, so I mean to say it's like really neat, it's like, what's the scale, like when we give like a 1 to 10, what's super neat then if the backpack's neat. Another side note that I just think is good for people to know if you're interested in tuning backpacks is this back like slot that's on the back of the bag, and if you're not familiar, that's to go over the telescoping handle on a rollerboard, like a suitcase that you take on an airplane. And a lot of backpacks that you get, if they're meant for travel, will have that on it so that you can slip it over the handle, it sits down on your suitcase, and then you can wheel it off and it stays on, doesn't fall off. But I will say that if you do not own a Tumi rollerboard or bigger suitcase than that, this might not fit over it because it is, the width of this is somewhat narrow, like it only goes from here to here. Like I don't know how to like measure that for you. Which most go from like edge to edge, and this does not, so it's a little narrower. So for instance, I have a rollerboard and it is not a Tumi, and so it goes a little wider than that, and this doesn't fit over it through the slot, so I just had to like sit it on it, which is the only annoying thing I can think of about it. But I still love it, and I loved it so much that even aside from travel, I use it pretty much day to day for work as well. So anyway, it's one of my favorites, and if you guys are curious at all or interested in seeing like what do I put in my travel bag, I used to be a consultant and I traveled all the time, every single week, and I would be more than happy to walk you guys through what I take traveling, what I think are necessary on the plane, and what aren't. So anyway, if you guys are interested in that, like the video or comment below and let me know, and I'd be more than happy to put that together for you, whether it's carry-on or in my actual suitcase, what I carry to keep things consolidated and simple for travel. That's everything that I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!